Good evening and welcome. Ladies, gentlemen, invited guests, scouts and scouters. My name is John Cacciamiglio and I'm the Scoutmaster of Troop 10. I will be your Master of Ceremonies for our program. This evening, we honor Troop 10's achievement of 153 Eagle Scouts over the span of 93 years. We will start the ceremony with the presentation of the colors by the Troop 10 Color Guard, led by Junior Assistant Scoutmaster Noah Jareen.
Troop attention. Color attention. Please come in all Scout shirts and remove all non-Scout hats and jackets. Color forward march. Prepare for the color. Scouts salute. Post up. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
2. Scout sign. Please join me in Scout code.
On my honor, I'll do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help the people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, and mentally awake and morally straight.
Scout law.
Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, reverent.
2. Color arms turn next. Stop there. Forward march. Color guard distance to the thanks. Everybody.
Thank you, Noah. We will begin this ceremony with an invocation from Pastor Chris Winkler from Barrington United Methodist Church.
Apparently, I'm the only one with unscripted remarks, so I'm going to go on for a while. I want to begin before offering the invocation by just saying how truly amazing this scout troop is and this relationship. 93 years chartered in this church, continuously active in this church and this community. Scout leaders, parents and scouts, incredible blessing to this church by Eagle Scout projects, by Scout Sunday, by being called on to help with various projects and special events around the church, the rummage sale and others, and always serving faithfully. Thank you, Troop 10, for being such a vital part of Barrington United Methodist Church. Will you pray with me? Almighty and everlasting God, by whose grace we are called to service, honor, and righteousness, we thank you for this day where we gather to celebrate such a remarkable achievement, one of dedication, perseverance, and faithfulness, the awarding of 153 Eagle Scouts over the 93 years of Troop 10's wonderful history. Dear God, our hearts are filled with gratitude for the Scouts, the Scout Masters, the helpers, the parents, the friends, the siblings, all who have inspired and supported each other along this journey. We lift up those exceptional young men who attained the rank of Eagle. And we especially thank you for those Eagle Scouts and Scouts who have passed from this earthly life, who watch over, guide us, and bless us today and each day. We thank you, O God, for the gifts you have bestowed upon us through scouting, hearts obedient to your will, filled with kindness and compassion for our fellow human beings, minds that are trained to stay calm and think wisely, mouths inspired to speak rightly, to demand fairness and advocate for justice, souls inclined to act bravely and live purely, and eyes open to the wonder and awe of the world around us. By the witness of the lives of each and every Eagle Scout raised up in this church, and by all that Troop 10 represents, enable and inspire us to continue to serve you and our nation, to obey the laws of scouting, and to help other people wherever and in whatever situations we encounter them. Keep us strong, faithful, and true. O Lord our God, accept our prayers, we ask. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Chris. This evening, we will be hearing from a few of Troop 10's notable Scouters. I'd like to invite Mr. Tim Grabacki, Mr. John Boyle, and Mr. Ryan Julian to the podium. These gentlemen will walk us through some of Troop 10's history. They will share with us some of the Eagle projects over the years, remind us of our relationships and service to Barrington United Methodist Church, and touch upon Troop 10's invaluable leaders and parent support. Mr. John Boyle served as a Scoutmaster of Troop 10 from 2005 to 2012. Although many might not know that before he was a Scoutmaster, he was also a committee chair for 4 years. John is a man of legend for the Scouts of Troop 10, having led many campouts and high-adventure trips to Boundary Waters, Philmont, and Scotland, and helping many Troop 10 Eagle Scouts with their Eagle projects. John's son Patrick and John are Eagle Scouts with Troop 10 as well. Mr. Tim Grabacki is our chartered organization representative and our liaison with Barrington United Methodist Church. Tim served as a committee chair for Troop 10 for many years. Tim earned his Eagle rank in 1973, and his sons Philip and Alex earned their Eagle years later with Troop 10. Mr. Ryan Julian was Scoutmaster of Troop 10 from 2001 to 2003, and has served as Scoutmaster of Troop 457 for Little City, and has served in positions with Signal Hill District since 2003. For his distinguished service within the Pathway to Adventure Council, Ryan was awarded the Silver Beaver Award in 2015. Ryan's son, Ryan, is an Eagle Scout with Troop 10 also. And our first speaker will be Mr. John Boyle.
Hello, fellow Scouters, Eagle Scouts family and friends. As part of the Graybeard contingency, it's an honor to be with all of you on this special occasion. Eagle Scouts, as you assemble here tonight, I'd like to remind you of the significance of your collective accomplishments. Yes, you have heard at least a few hundred times that an Eagle Scout will reach a goal that only 2% of the enrolling Boy Scout contingency will achieve, the rank of an Eagle Scout. You assemble here today basking in the reflective glory of 152 other very accomplished members of this elite group, and you have much to share as an Eagle Scout. For an Eagle project, you were asked to lead in a service project for a nonprofit organization. Your project may have allowed you to see the gratitude from the members of these organizations upon the completion of your project. Some projects culminated over time to help those who you may have never met or have never seen since. These projects can take place over time in faraway places, but no matter where your project takes place or the time it may take to manifest, understand the one main part that Boy Scouts asked of you: to help other people at all times. Every day for the rest of your life, remember that you have succeeded in one of the most noblest of goals. As an Eagle Scout, your project took on many looks, preparations, and tasks. As an old guy who has seen many of these projects, I'd like to remind you, as a group of Brotherhood of Eagles, the first thoughts about your Eagle project. You may remember, as you were considering your project's ideas, that the adult leaders encouraged you to take a look at a project that was something that you would like to do, possibly a hobby that you had, or a particular interest or a kindness that you would like to extend, something that you thought would be helpful to someone else and share in their happiness. As the old guys, we looked back and saw a multiple number of common threads that span generations. An Eagle Scout project recently was to collect mobile phones to help stop the deforestation in a distant country, which reminded us of a project by Brian back in 1998, where he collected medical supplies for a village in Nicaragua. Brian found a local pilot who loaded the supplies into his plane and flew them there to help. We think of the multiple projects from Eagle Scouts Spencer, Alex, Joseph, Thomas, and others that have helped build flower boxes, brick paths, walkways, storage areas for our friends at the Citizens for Conservation. Multiple projects by Kyle, Eric, Jeremiah, and others at the Tyler Creek Forest Preserve in Elgin, and Ed and Derek's projects to help with Cook County Forest Preserves. We thought about the number of raised wooden benches, walkways, picnic tables, from Michael to Patrick to Matthew to Christopher and many others. While we have seen Alec, Eric, Austin, Kevin, Art, and David lead projects to help cut, repair, build, restore habitat, and plant areas for schools, churches, and parks. We have witnessed you doing the most tenderest of projects for those that needed help. Justin, you took old hinges, lock sets, tile, and other hardware and built plaques for special need patients to allow them to do something with their hands while they were waiting for their medical appointments. Ironically, as an old guy, I remember that Chris built a similar wall in 2008 at the Walk-On Farms, where students found something to do to keep their minds busy while they were waiting for their horseback riding therapy. Hector and others have built sitting areas to observe wildlife in their natural surroundings, such as places like Stillman Park, Crabtree Nature Center. Tyler helped with an autism program here at Barrington High School. Zach and Adam furnished children's classrooms to help their families, temples, and mosques. Eagle Scouts have found a place to retire the worn flags of this country with respect. Others have helped restore hollow ground for veterans at the local cemeteries. More than a couple of you have made the lives of those who visit Gigi's Playhouse a little brighter. Eagle Scouts Graham, John, and others have found coats, suitcases, computers, and printers to donate to the Home of the Sparrows and the Crow Creek Nation. Reminded me of Justin in 1995, who found a local farmer to give him 1 acre of land so that he could grow and cultivate fresh fruit and vegetables over spring, summer, and fall, at which time he asked scouts to help come and harvest over 1,000 pounds of fresh fruit and vegetables. He donated them to the local food pantries and churches. Ironically enough, the farm that Justin used is now a subdivision where a couple of you live. This Brotherhood of Eagles is a brotherhood of more than 18 sets of brothers. Currently, that's going to change in the future. I'm proud to tell you that there are 2 families with more than 3 Eagle Scouts on our list, and there's 1 family with 4 Eagle Scouts. We have another family with 3 Eagle Scouts from Troop 10, and their oldest son received his Eagle badge in a previous troop that he was with before moving to Barrington. So, as you know, or may not know, there are 11 second generation families of Eagle Scouts in Troop 10 currently. These families, in which the fathers are Eagle Scouts, now have sons that are Eagle Scouts here at Troop 10, following in their father's footsteps. I would also like to tell you that if you look at the program and you find a young man named Philip Yurtis, 1989, I was told that Philip Yurtis 2 weeks ago saw his son receive his Eagle badge. So Scouts from Troop 10 are now having sons that are having Eagle Scout recognitions. Eagle Scouts who have shouldered an Eagle project with the ongoing requirements of high school, sports, and other activities, impending finals, and nagging sometimes from your parents, and most likely that 400-pound gorilla on your back. Not me. Your 18th birthday. You have taken on these projects as part of your Eagle requirements with the understanding that a project is part of what made you an Eagle Scout. Your perseverance, talent, personality, your family, and Troop 10 will help you remember all that went into this achievement. While the project is a major accomplishment, it's part of what defines you. Each of you will take something different away from this experience. That's what makes you an Eagle Scout. Congratulations, and thank you for letting us come along on this journey. Speaking again as a graybeard, and I think we would all agree, our hope as leaders is that if a young person, sometime in the future, who might be named Michael, Alex, Justin, Amy, or Sarah, asks you if you know anything about Boy Scouting's experiences, we're hoping that you say yes. Then take that person to a meeting and join them. Thank you very much.
John's always a tough act to follow. So good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for being here. I'm very happy to be here to talk about how Troop 10 Eagle Scouts have contributed to our sponsoring organization, Barrington United Methodist Church. Almost all of these projects that have been done here are still visible today. So let me tell you a little bit about them. Here inside the building, there are 3. Michael Reindl led a project that rewired the lighting in the youth room. The new lighting scheme provided spotlights on the walls for the various art and inspirational sayings that were painted there by the youth group. The BUMC youth group also had a very active band a number of years ago. David Reindl built a riser on which the band equipment sits today so that all of the cables would not be a trip hazard. It is still used for the Crossroads Worship Band to practice. Alex Grabacki hung the speakers from the ceiling and built a cart for the mixer and audio accessories. Instructions for how to use the mixer were a key part of this project and took a lot of mystery out of its operation. Outside, there are 5 more. Dan Felt's project created the original Worship in the Woods, a great space for worship, especially by the youth group. Fires were not encouraged too close to the building. And over 10 years later, Alec Wolfram made the area better just a year or so ago, replacing the original lectern and benches. Much more solid. The flagstone walkway between the church and the Worship in the Woods was built through Mike Noble's project. Anyone who has built a walkway from flagstones knows the challenge we face during construction. Just take a look at some of the size of those rocks. The play gym for Noah's Ark Preschool was Philip Grabacki's project. It is enjoyed every day by the kids that go outside. This project seemed like it would never end and required significant support from Sean McCaleb. Philip and Sean can fill you in on the details if you ask them. John Waldron created the Nature Explorer classroom for the preschool. His project cleared out invasive species, rearranged the raised garden beds, and installed instructive signs. This project is another one that is enjoyed a lot by the preschoolers. A couple of years ago, I came across a plaque around the cul-de-sac at the back of the church. And that plaque described it as a Troop 10 Eagle project. It turns out that project was completed by Paul Oakenrider back in 2001. Actually, there is one Eagle project that you can't visit here at BUMC. This project involved landscaping and planting flowers around the church that was at Huff Street. Yes, Kevin Parker did his project at the previous BUMC site in the summer of 1998, about 4 months before the church burned down. And especially today, we should remember that none of these projects would have been possible without the support of the BUMC trustees. We thank them for their ideas, suggestions, and most importantly, their agreement for having these projects be done here at the church. On a personal note, my first role here at Troop 10 was to help with the Life to Eagle process. Back in 2002, the troop had about 70 Eagles and 25 Life Scouts. I was the 4th Eagle coordinator at the time, joining Ken Lichtenstein, Tony Carbo, and Hank Stuchel as we tried to encourage those Scouts to finish their Eagle project before their 18th birthday. As we've all learned, Eagle projects take a village. Look how far we have all come, something we should all be proud of. So thank you all for being here to celebrate the significant milestone for 150 and counting Eagle Scouts, and thank you from BUMC for being part of it. Thanks.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here to recognize the troop, both the Scouts and the leaders, for achieving an incredible milestone of developing over 150 Eagle Scouts since our first one back in 1927, which predates even me, even John. Mr. Boyle and Mr. Grabacki have shared stories of some of the wonderful contributions our Eagle Scouts have made with their service projects. But the legacy of these Scouts is not just in the result of these projects. The legacy is really the growth and development of these Eagles themselves into our next generation of leaders. The Eagles that I've worked with over the years have become doctors, lawyers, teachers, military officers, paramedics, engineers, managers, park rangers, and importantly, the next generation of fathers. The development of these Scouts that we're recognizing today is only made possible by the dedication and hard work of all the adults that have served as leaders and supporters for Troop 10. Mr. Grabacki said that it takes a village. Well, it's certainly true. I am not going to mention the 44 terrific Scoutmasters of Troop 10. That list alone would take some time, and besides, they're listed on the plaque in the wall in the same area where in Barrington United Methodist Church, same area where the list of all the Eagles are celebrated that we're talking about today. But there are many more adult leaders that have helped our Scouts succeed. Many of these adult leaders served in different roles, too. It'd be almost impossible to recognize all the adult leaders who were instrumental in the success of our troop, but I do want to offer some examples. They're the Troop 10 committee chairs that have created the structure to support our troop, and so the Scouts can flourish. Some of them include George Felt, who served with me, Ken Lichtenstein, who served for years as an Eagle coordinator, Tom Kretler, Tim Grabacki, John Boyle, Jill Hitting, Cheryl Cousins, Lee Buss, and currently Lisa. It's a tough job, but these dedicated leaders made it happen. There are also the many assistant Scoutmasters, including Steve Rich, our quartermaster, who for years made sure our Scouts and leaders had the equipment they needed to do whatever activity they did. They include Bill Turnquist and Bill Akramowitz, who also served as camping directors to help our guys have some pretty exciting outings. Bill Ross, who has served the troop for more than 25 years and continues to help our new Scouts quickly get through tenderfoot so they can get their advancement going. Eric Bayer, who helped make summer camp happen for so many years. Jeff Shawley, Paul Norcus, who made sure the Scouts had the opportunity for high adventures like Northern Tier, Sea Base, the Summit now, and of course Philmont. Other adults have served as advancement chairs and Eagle coordinators to help keep our Scouts on track and to encourage them in their advancement. These include Roger Yates, another one of our former Scoutmasters, Lisa Even, Don Chapman, Tom Jackson, Sheila Rodolphe, Carol Brabas, and Todd Phillips. Besides our Scoutmasters, Assistant Scoutmasters, Advancement Chairs, Eagle Coordinators, and Committee Chairs, many other adult leaders have contributed to the success of our Eagle Scouts. Every time you volunteered at a meeting or a campout, helped on an Eagle project, counseled on a merit badge, or sat in an Eagle Board of Review, you were part of that process. I know that sometimes our Eagles didn't make it easy. There were the Eagle Scoutmaster conferences practically on the eve of the Scout's birthday. I won't name names now, but you know who you are. There are those Eagle Boards of Reviews, well, 153 so far, sometimes pulled together on short notice or shoehorned into a college student's weekend at home, or scheduled so that they could be wrapped up in time for the Eagles' college application deadlines. I think the 7 Eagle Boards of Review between September 15th and October 25th in 2015, with 6 of them in just a 19-day period, probably qualify as some kind of record. Now, speaking of records, it took 70 years for Troop 10 to develop the first 50 Eagle Scouts, 11 years more for the next 50, and only nine for the most recent 50. We've had at least one Scout earn the rank of Eagle every single year since 1992. That's 27 consecutive years. We have had 5 or more Eagles in a single year a dozen times since 2000. And in 2015, we had a record 10 Eagle Scouts in a single calendar year. That's a lot for us to be proud of, and I think we must be on some kind of roll. Now, before we go further in the program, I also want to thank the folks who put together this event. So if I could have Nick, Lisa, John, Jeff, Tom, and Lisa Joran, as well as Lisa Belmonte, and Sheila stand up, please. Now, could I also have anyone who helped on the setup or putting the program together, please stand. Come on, Scouts, I know some of you guys did it. See, everything takes a village. This is the village to put this together. It really does. Thank you. Let's give them a round of applause. It truly does take a village, and I know that I've only mentioned a small number of those leaders who are so vital to our success. So on behalf of Troop 10, I want to thank you to all the adult leaders over the years whose support has made all this possible. Thank you.
Thank you, John, Tim, and Ryan. Today, we are here to celebrate Troop 10's milestone of reaching 150-plus Eagle Scouts, and to celebrate all Eagle Scouts here this evening in achieving this highest rank. The Native Indians saw the eagle as a symbol for great strength, leadership, and vision. As if to seemingly mirror this, the eagle has been used as a banner by many of the great empires throughout history, from Babylon to Egypt, through to Rome, the United States, and even the Boy Scouts. These great attributes, along with humility, morality, and honor, are the foundation of an Eagle Scout. The Eagle is the highest rank that Scouting offers. Less than 1 out of 50 Scouts, about 2%, in the United States reach the Eagle rank. The Eagle rank represents accomplishments in Scouting skills and teamwork as a member and leader of both troop and patrol, and in Scout spirit as represented by living the Scout oath and law. Although a Scout ages out of Boy Scouts at 18 years old, if he has attained the rank of Eagle Scout, he will always be an Eagle Scout and should use what he has learned as his rule and guide through life. The main goal of scouting is to give scouts some of the basic tools they will need to become great leaders in whatever they decide to do in life. And if they can reach Eagle, they should have a great foundation for their successes. Many of you Eagle Scouts here today have built upon the foundation and are successful businessmen or have started your own business or venture. Some of you younger Eagles have been able to get into better college or will when you are old enough. Whatever you have done or will do with this prestigious status, remember that an Eagle should be ever mindful that the Eagle Scout is looked up to as an example. May the Scout Oath and the Scout Law continue to be your guide today, tomorrow, and always. I'd like to invite Committee Chair Ms. Lisa Jareen and Life to Eagle Coordinator Dr. Tom Jackson, to the podium. Since 1924, Troop 10 has seen 150 young men attain Eagle Scout rank. We will read the names of each of the Eagle Scouts in chronological order. Troop 10 Eagle Scouts, when you hear your name, please come forward and stand on the stage where you will reaffirm your Eagle Scout pledge. We'll have you all line up in here. Burnell Landwehr. Now, these first few probably aren't going to be coming up because they're from 1927 and so. Richard Drover. Gerald Green. Don Maxon. Harold Calkins. Robert Albright. Wesley Harriman, William Friedlander, Charles Smith, Corliss Anderson, Sam Nightingale, Charles Totman, Bruce Bell, Sam Harkness, Richard Stebbins, Richard Davis, Daniel Stebbins, Heath Davis III, Wayne Stebbins, Neil Laybourne, John Crumrin, Charles Traxler, James Strum, Michael Cusack, Douglas Brown.
Charles Davis, Baron Davis, John Perry, David Edquist, Kirk Berend, Richard McMullen, Michael Bloodworth, Stephen Slanick, Gregory Root, Christopher Peterson, Thomas Simmons, Joseph DeLulo, Charles Westcott, Andrew Rice, Philip Yurtis, Mark Frederick, Michael Yurtis, Michael Koch, Brian Donahue, Trevin Pulsifer, Christopher Kenyon, Thomas Bauman, Justin Warnke, Porter Noble, Patrick Boyle.
Brian Peters, Kevin Parker, John Moran, Sean Turley, Kyle Yates, Matthew Reddy, Victor Del Rosso, Maury Vandeneykel, Albert Carbo, Andrew Young, Paul Okenrider, Michael Meyer, Eric Akromowitz, Robert Sinat, William Ross, Eric Evan, Michael Payne, Matt Bayer, Daniel Rich, Billy Turnquest, Jeff Lichtenstein, Matt Young, Chris Greenstein, Eric Kirchberger, Scott Akromowitz.
Kevin Fisher, Jeremy Boyle, Aaron Bratman, Kevin Keys, Michael Reddy, Brian Reindell, Justin Bosley, Nathan Horswell, Michael Noble, Dan Felt, Brandon Rich, Jonathan Swenson, Ryan Julian, Jared Epstein, Daniel Wilmot, Matthew Kirchberger, Jeffrey Russert, Spencer West, Tom Kretler, Kirk Brennison, Edward Trolley, Zachary Bacall, Miles McCaleb, Joseph Seeger, Adam Yala,
Philip Grabacki, Dan Palmer, Tyler Rich, Christopher Johnson, Kevin Johnson, Alec Oban, Michael Reindl, David Reindl, Daniel Hay, Taylor Voigt, Vincent Hensel, Joshua Shawley, Alex Groves, Graham Wilmot, Alexander Grabacki, Jonathan Caitlin, Spencer Suppis, Peter Scott Samoska, David Butler, Alexander Mathis, Joseph Matlahowski, Arthur Beasy, David Barabbas, Robert Cusson, Joshua Turnquest.
Derek Chapman, Justin Hill, Jonathan Wilson, Tristan Buss, Nicholas Groves, Hector Solinsky, Jack Turnquest, Austin Keating, Aaron Hager,
James Owen, Matthew Rowley, Thomas Supps Jr., Michael O'Donnell, Grant Bloom, Michael Baker, Matthew Polasek, Christopher Rudolphi, Matthew Baker, Christopher Rydberg, Joseph Young, Alexander Norcus, Alec Wolfram, John Waldron, John Longo III, Robert Botella, Ryan Jackson, Christian Rowley, and Grant Supps.
Thank you, Tom and Lisa. Will all other Eagle Scouts in attendance please stand up and reaffirm your Eagle Scout pledge? All Eagle Scouts, give the Scout sign and repeat after me. I state your name. Reaffirm my allegiance to the three promises of the Scout Oath. I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country and to obey the Scout law. I will help other people at all time and keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. I thoughtfully recognize and take upon myself the obligations and responsibilities of the rank of Eagle Scout. On my honor, I will do my best to make my training an example of my rank and my influence count strongly for better scouting and for better citizenship in my troop, in my community, in my country, and in my contacts with other people. To this I pledge my sacred honor. By the authority vested in me by the National Court of Honor of Boy Scouts of America, it is my distinct honor and privilege to reaffirm you as Eagle Scouts. May the oath you have just taken remain in your hearts always. Congratulations. You can all take your seats again. Thank you. I would now like to invite Pastor Chris to present the benediction.
Will you pray with me? God, the eternal, keep you in love with nature in fellowship with your fellow scouts and in service to all of God's people. May the peace of Christ fill your home, your tent, your cabin, or wherever you dwell. May the Spirit of God guide you and keep you on right paths. May you always bear witness to honor, loyal duty, and love in all that you do. And be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a battle. May our Almighty God, Creator, Redeemer, and Sustainer be with you all. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Chris. Just a reminder to all Eagle Scouts, Scouts and Scouters, if you could please remain here for some pictures after the close of the ceremony. I'd like to also invite everyone to join us in Fellowship Hall for our dinner reception. We will have Eagle Scout project binders on display, as well as congratulatory letters from dignitaries. If you have not had, they're going to have neckerchiefs down there if you're still interested in a commemorative neckerchief as well. Will the audience please rise as the Troop 10 Color Guard retires the colors? Tommy Connect will play taps, and then we will sing taps. The words for taps are printed at the bottom of page 2 in the program. Noah Joreen, please proceed with retiring the colors.
Prepare to leave the colors. Scout salute. Retrieve colors. Return ranks. Face. Forward march. 2. Please join me in singing the sound. If you and I, so again, united